Hello, gorgeous. Today we're going to be working on these lovely wire wrap Celtic crosses. I had somebody request some instructions, so we're going to see if we can get that up here for you. This is going to be probably an intermediate. You should have some pre-experience with wire wrapping. For our supplies, we're going to use some 18 gauge wire, some 24 gauge wire. Tools, I've got my snips, round nose, and my favorite pair of bent nose pliers. In order to make this, it has two frames. There's an interior frame that we're going to create first, and then we're going to wire wrap the exterior frame onto it. So this is basically three levels: interior, exterior, and then the bead wrapping. So to get started, here's our basic shape for the interior frame. It's an S with two arms. So in order to create that, we are going to start, and we're going to work at about 1.5 inches for each arm. And that's what I measured. I always kind of do this stuff freeform. So arm number 1, we'll take our round nose, nice 90-degree angle, about 1 inch up our wire, and we're going to wrap it around the widest point of our round nose pliers. Come down, we're going to create that long skinny S shape. So maybe, since this was about 1 inch, we're going to do about 1.5 inches here around the fattest part. So this is just our pre-shaping. There we go, and now we're going to create our other 90-degree angle here. Nice sharp bend. Alright, we're going to even up both of these arms to the same width. I'm coming down to my ruler here, about 1.5 inches, snip 1.5 inches. We're going to go ahead and coil these up towards the smaller loop. So small spiral on the end of each arm, probably. There's one loop. You want it going upwards. Alright. 2 loops. Now to make our little spiral on the end. I kind of hold my piece with my pliers and do more bending of the wire than I do with the plier hand. It's easier to bend the wire than it is the pliers. Not making as much a mess. And that's probably around twice, so that the beginning part of the hoop ends at the bar. Again, we'll do the other side. You can make your spiral as tight or as loose as you'd like. Once again, I freeform. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and give a gentle curve on each of these bars. I like that wave. And I'm just using my thumb to do that. You can be more precise if you like, feel free. I tend to want to just go for it. A bit of my own impatience there. I'm going to take a small bit of our 24 gauge wire here, and we are going to coil wrap along each arm so it's a solid coil. And I'm going to go across here so it anchors both arms to that center frame there. Flatten it out. Alright. And then we're going to take each 1, 2. I'm just going to anchor it before I start my coil. Give it 2-3 wraps to anchor one side so it's not sliding on me. And then we're going to go tightly coil, and remember to continue to move your fingers down the piece as you wind so you're not stressing just one point on the wire, because that amount of friction on one point on the wire will make it snap. It'll disrupt the tensile strength of the wire. So as I'm moving my fingers down, and then I just tighten up the coil as we go. all the way. Now, I'm going to snip that pretty close to the wire, flat edge of the pliers to the piece so I have a nice clean cut right there next to it. And then I take my bent nose and I'm just going to tuck that little bit of wire under. And I always end up having to reshape a little bit as I go, put everything in place, and the more you work, you're going to work hard on your piece. So, we are going to create an outer frame for this piece now. All the frame pieces are done in the 18 to 20 gauge wire, whichever you're more comfortable with using. This wire is dead soft, although I've got a bunch of I like half hard too. Up to you what you're comfortable working with. So go ahead and continue on with the other arm, and then we're going to create the outer frame. And to do that, I've got, I don't know, this is about 14-15 inch piece of wire here. I'm going to find the center because that's going to be the square part right here on our upper frame. And to create the square, I'm guessing probably about 5/8 of an inch. I'm going to create a pretty sharp bend there using the edge of my pliers. So I get a nice little curve or sharp bend there instead of a curve. I'm going to tighten it up a little bit and preemptively bend the wire a little bit so it's curved, flatten out our top, and from here we are going to do basically a simple weave. Over under from the outer frame to the inner frame. So over under, and in between each over under we're going to do 2 coils, or I did 2 coils. Maybe you want to do with your 24 gauge wire, your thinner wire. See, I created a bit of a frame. Start here in the corner, bent my wire out of the way because it's going to go around this arm here. And I've wrapped 1, 2 coils, then it's over the top, under the center, and 2 visible coils. 1, 2. Then under, over. So it's a basic weave, and for anchoring we're just doing 2 coils to anchor it on each portion. Now you can make this as wide as you'd like, you can make it as tight as you'd like. Make sure you're just giving yourself enough space to add your bail on when we're done with the piece, because the bail is going to connect right here, and we're going to use the 18 gauge wire again to make the bail. Now once you come all the way around, and we are going to shape our outer frame as we go around the piece. So I want the joint for the arm to come in this way, and we'll connect that, and then we're going to do just a single wrap, or you can leave it plain if you want, but I liked the single wrap around the arm. And as you're wrapping, see, we finished our weave all the way around here, and then I just did a single very loose wrap around the outer wire. And when we get to the spiral where we bent our frame here to come back up, when you get to the spiral, we're going to do 1, 2, 3 wraps, and we're going to do it right into the center of the spiral around everything, and then start coming back around. That anchors that interior part of the arm, and then we will continue on to the interior of this arm all the way into the center, and we're going to anchor it right here on the interior of the inner arm on the coil. We're going to do 1 wrap right there really tight, and then we're going to come right in here, and we are going to work that little weave 2 coil, weave 2 coil all the way down. until we come down here. And when we get down here, we are going to be left, once you finish your weaving down to here, do 3 or 4 coils, tuck and end, you're good to go. And I cut this, both tail ends, at approximately 1.5 inches again. I seem to be stuck on 1.5 inches. That must be my favorite this time around. And we are going to go ahead and do a tight spiral, same as we did, although I did my arm ones fairly loose. I'm going to do a tighter spiral on this bottom tails here. So we come up all the way once our weaving's